Yeah.
I mean, we would be in the middle of a civil war now.
Well, so I think we sort of nodded toward this truth, but I'll just make it explicit. I do think that one of the silver linings of him having won this election and having won it decisively is that it has discharged all of that pent-up rage and conspiracy thinking. I mean, like, so in Trumpistan,
is it?
Well, they've gotten everything.
Yeah.
Right. So now they've got 4 years.
No, they believe in elections again.
Yeah. So like our election system works, right? Apparently, and the elites couldn't keep the man down.
But again,
and there's no conspiracy. The Jews didn't do the thing that we're worried about.
But, again, and I don't think you're going to disagree with this, we didn't cure the cancer. We just pushed it further into tissue.
Well, but I think it's different. But the counterfactual is scary. I mean, so a Harris administration with all of these right-wing QAnon-addled nutcases thinking that the fix was in and the elections don't mean anything, and like, all of that's bad from my point of view. So the fact that half of the electorate is that crazy is, I do think they've been mollified, and then now they get to see what it's like to govern with all of the tech bros.
In a gripping and deeply insightful exchange, Bill Maher and Sam Harris sit down for a conversation that slices straight through the surface-level noise dominating today's cultural discourse. This wasn't just a podcast, it was a bold unpacking of some of the most divisive and urgent issues of our time. From the deceptive glamour of the fashion industry and its influence on societal values to the corrosive spread of misinformation, Maher and Harris covered all with intelligence, honesty, and their signature sharp wit. They tackle questions about election integrity and the rise of identity politics, not from a partisan stance, but through a lens of concern for the broader public consciousness. And it's not just the political system they're critiquing. They dive deep into the media landscape, revealing how financial motives often push networks and content creators to chase clicks over facts, sensationalism over substance. Even contemporary activism isn't immune from scrutiny. The duo takes a balanced approach, acknowledging its potential to ignite progress while warning of its blind spots and unintended fallout. This is a casual commentary, it's an intellectual excavation of the social forces shaping our future. If you're searching for clarity in a world flooded with noise, this dialogue is essential viewing.
Is why, as much as we're living in a wonderful time now, where America's great again, whatever the next election is, if the Democrat wins it, they're just going to be ever more suspicious, and it's just going to be. We're putting off this day where something has to give with the people who don't believe in elections unless we win them.
No, but
that's intolerable.
Why would you say that if this time we, the mustache twirling plutocrats, couldn't fix the election?
You're thinking too.
Elections works.
You're thinking so logically. That's Sam. This is not how
he
they
won
think.
everything. He won. He ran the table.
Yes, because there was no cheating. But if he had lost, there would have been cheating.
No,
you have it backwards.
Absolutely, but we've proven that you could have a fair election in the year 2024.
You're living in the world where you're encountering people like you.
Right.
And that's not the world we live in.
All right. Well,
that's not
I'm a bad judge of character.
You are. That is not going to happen.
In the next phase of their conversation, Sam Harris and Bill Maher turn their attention to the rising doubts surrounding election integrity in the United States, a topic that's become a lightning rod for division. They call out a dangerous trend. The growing public skepticism fueled not by facts, but by political narratives that refuse to accept any result that isn't favorable. This refusal to trust outcomes, especially among influential voices, creates an us versus them dynamic where the losing side cries foul, not on evidence, but on emotion. The result? A toxic erosion of faith in democracy itself. They emphasize how conspiracy theories and unsubstantiated claims are no longer fringe. They've gone mainstream, amplified by hyper-partisan media outlets and echo chambers that thrive on outrage. Harris and Maher warn that if this trend continues unchecked, the stakes won't just be political, they'll be societal. We're talking about the risk of real-world violence, weakened institutions, and the kind of distrust that breaks democracies from within. Their solution is clear. Political leaders and media figures must take responsibility. The public deserves transparency, accuracy, and a shared commitment to distinguishing legitimate concerns from manufactured panic. The future of democratic governance depends on
cognitive dissonance, is it not? That like you can be so worried and the world can seem to be falling apart, but then you look around and you go, yeah, but our life is pretty good. And I understand that half the country, as you point out, are going to get pitchforks because, and they are, and we should do something about that. But I don't know what. But for a lot of people, when you just drive around, people are just living their best life, and
Well, the difference between online and in the real world is so enormous. I mean, again, it's not true. Like it used to be that people could just say, Twitter's not real life, but obviously, the revolutions can start on Twitter. I mean, like the things that happen online are real in some important sense. But it's just also true that in real life, people are very different than they are online. And online, you reliably just see the worst face of normal people, and it's pretty ugly.
Yeah.
In real life, people are better, and so it's like it's good to recalibrate and recognize just what people are like face to face,
and more connected.
Yeah.
I read in the paper the other day, I think this comes from a Pew survey, that it's almost 2-to-1 the number of young men versus young women under 30 who are in a relationship. Like 64, completely single. Like 64% of males under 30, completely single. Only 34% of women.
Right. So all these women under 30 are hooking up with older guys. That's what's happening.
I don't.
That's
I
how the math.
hope so.
Yes, that's what the math suggests. Yeah, or they're gay.
Well, but I mean, this was an article about OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm.
Which the level of patheticness I can't even fathom, that you are so lonely. And I'm not saying this in any snarky way. I'm really sincerely feeling for these people, because I remember when I was that lonely, like in college. But to be so lonely and desperate that you would have this fake girlfriend who you must know is fake, and you're paying her by the minute to text or talk to you. And you think this is some kind of a relationship? Or
in one of the most sobering segments of the discussion, Harris and Maher shift their focus to the inner workings of the media and the influence of financial incentives that too often override journalistic integrity. They break down how major news organizations as well as independent content creators increasingly chase profit by feeding audiences what they want to hear instead of what they need to know. This phenomenon, known as audience capture, encourages media producers to shape their content around confirmation bias.